I'm fairly flexible. It's not a secret. Anyone who's known me for more than about an hour has seen me spread my legs. But do you really need to be flexible to be good at handstands? Well, like all questions worth asking, there isn't really a simple yes or no answer. In general, if you just want to learn how to handstand at a casual level, then flexibility is not really that important. But if you want to do more advanced things like different leg isolations, learning how to press into a handstand, or even just having a really nice straight line, then flexibility becomes a lot more important. So let's talk minimum requirements. If all you want is a handstand that looks a little something like this, just a classic banana handstand, then all you really need to focus on is having enough wrist mobility and strength in your wrists to support your full weight. As far as wrists are concerned, for most people, just warming them up properly and taking things slowly will take care of everything. For others, you may need to spend some time working on stretching and strengthening for your wrists so that they're prepared properly. What you're watching is the GMB Fitness wrist prep routine that I've done every handstand session for years and absolutely swear by. I'll put a link to their video of it in the description. With minimum requirements out of the way, let's take a look at what kind of flexibility you should be striving towards as you progress with your handstands. The most important area to have good mobility for handstands is the shoulders. You need to have nice open shoulders. It's the difference between a good line and a bad line. If you're able to push tall and keep your shoulders open, you'll have a nice straight line in your handstand. Even if your mobility at the hips is really poor and you can't even touch your toes, you can still have a nice pretty handstand if you have good mobility at the shoulders. That being said, it's also important to bear in mind that all the flexibility in the world doesn't make a difference if you don't have the strength in your shoulders to push really tall into your handstand to get that good line. So you need to work on strengthening your shoulders and your traps to be able to push really tall. And then we come to your forward folds. Your flexibility here comes into play for things like different leg isolations and presses into handstand. I personally started taking my flexibility seriously on my way to a straddle press, and I'd recommend you do the same so it's not a limiting factor for you when you get there. If you're just starting with handstands now, stretch. The two main measures are your pike and your pancake, and at a higher level, maybe even front splits and side splits. I'd recommend working on these a lot. Personally, I stretch in between every set of my workout. This means that by the end of my session, I'm as flexible as I can be for the day, and that comes in handy if, like me, you work on presses later in your workout. There's also your back bend ability. This comes in handy if you ever want to work towards contortionist style handstands or a hollow back or Mexican handstand. And it will also make a big difference to your shoulder mobility if that is something you struggle with. While back bends are great and they're definitely useful and they have their place, if your goal is just a straight handstand, nice straight line, then back bend ability doesn't really make a difference. I'd still recommend getting a solid bridge, but it doesn't need to be your priority if it doesn't seem important to you. I hope this gave you a good idea of what you might want to spend your time working towards. As you can see, it really doesn't take that much flexibility to get started, but it does make sense to start working on flexibility as soon as possible. If you're currently super inflexible and this all seems really daunting, then don't worry. I'm going to have some beginner-friendly videos out soon for those of you who struggle to do things like touch your toes and get deep in a squat. If that sounds good, subscribe. If you're interested in online coaching, follow the link in the description, and I'll see you soon.